Here we are, Albuquerque, New Mexico, catching up with Lael Wilcox as she rides around the world. Seriously, she's riding around the world. Getting closer to riding around the world, nearing the completion of it. We're in New Mexico right now. How you feeling?
I'm feeling so good. I looked this morning, I'm at 16,600 plus.
Whew! That's such a wild number to like quantify that and be like, oh yeah, we did this. You did this.
Day 102.
Day 102.
Woo!
There we go. He's got some fans out on the road. Woo! So you do have a route, and that's how a lot of people find you, is as a dot from your spot tracker just hanging out right there.
Exactly.
And so that's how people find you. How did you determine the route? Like, what was planning the route like?
Oh man, so I knew I was gonna ride from Alaska south.
Yep.
And I knew I'd ride across Europe. I chose to start in Portugal, finish in Georgia.
And you kind of went up north in Europe too.
I did a bit.
Yeah.
So the route took a bit of time to kind of get an idea for. It was
makes sense.
A combination of places I want to go, places that are safe to go right now.
Yep.
Like I knew I couldn't ride across Russia.
Totally.
So I was like, well, what do I do instead? And then I was like, well, I could do a bit more in Europe. I could go across Turkey to Georgia. At one point I considered Bangkok to Singapore.
Ooh.
But it's only like maybe 1,500 miles.
Oh, that's a lot of effort to get out there, huh?
It's another flight.
Yeah.
You know, and then for the record, there's a set of rules.
So how does that work? Yeah, how did you have to ride a certain amount of miles?
Yeah, it's at least 18,000 miles, either east or west.
Yep.
Can't really zigzag. And you have to cross two opposite sides of the globe.
Okay.
So for me, that's Madrid, Spain, and Wellington, New Zealand.
That is their opposite sides of the globe, for sure. So this was kind of a community effort, like people in different countries were like, this is a really good route across my country?
Well, so I asked a couple of really close Italian friends, Bea and Luca, to make my ride across Europe.
Yep.
Which is definitely the most complicated part.
It really is. Riding across Europe is like routing through a spider web.
Yeah, there's so many roads because it's such an ancient culture. They know I love climbing.
Yep.
And that adds so much beauty. It's a little bit harder and takes a little longer, but
it's interesting though, because flat roads are like kind of boring.
I can't do it.
Yeah. You're talking about the transfers. You have to get on a plane with your bike and fly to different continents.
Yeah.
How challenging was that? Like, did that impact? Because the clock never stops.
Exactly.
Those transfers, you're burning time.
Everything counts.
How does that work? But my personal question is, do you feel like you recover on the planes?
I think the trickiest part was the logistics of when does the flight go?
Yeah.
When can I make it there? I know I have to pack my bike. It's all gonna take a bit of time. I think I did recover a bit on the airplane. I tried to sleep as much as I could.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, it's like that, those days go into the total time and my average. So I knew I'd lose like at least 2 days flying.
Each time, or for the whole trip?
For the whole trip, 2 full days and then probably 3-4 half days.
That's a lot. I mean, that's almost 72 hours or like 9, that's almost 4 full days.
Right. So then I was like, okay, my daily average has to be a bit higher than my total time. Ah,
so if you're like, oh, I could do like 160 a day, then you factor in the planes and you're like, actually it's 170 a day.
Exactly.
Ah.
Exactly. So then right now, at day 102, my average is like 163.
Woo! Wild.
So it's like exactly my goal. I set a goal at the beginning of 110 days. But honestly, I was like, I have no idea if I can do that.
Yeah, totally, because you're just like, okay, 110 days, let's see how it goes.
Throwing paint on the wall, you know, but then it's worked out, at least up to this point.
It's gonna work out, I think, all the way.
I hope so.
We're here, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Lael Wilcox, almost done riding around the world. Can you give me a quick bike check? What's up with the bike that you're riding around the world?
Yeah, I'm riding the Specialized Roubaix, and it's a endurance road bike, super comfortable. I've got 32 millimeter Specialized Roubaix tires, dynamo hub, new SRAM red. And
what gearing do you running on this?
it's 10 to 36 tooth cassette, and then the rings are, I think, 46, 33.
That's the one. And what wheels are you running?
And I am running the Zipp Firecrest 303 wheels. The front's laced around a dynamo hub. And I've got aero bars, I've got all my snacks up here, Wahoo for navigation, dynamo light, quad lock to have my phone handy, spot tracker.
Has anything changed since, besides changing all the components that you've worn out, has anything changed on the bike since you started, or is it pretty much the same bike that you rode away with?
It's absolutely the same bike, and to be honest, I still love it, which I thought, oh, I was gonna be so sick of riding at this point, and I'm not. 102 days into it, I'm still having fun.
Love to hear it. Thanks, Lael.
Yeah, of course.
How do you deal with kind of the mental lows of, I'm sure sometimes there's just been some really hard times.
You know, it's amazing that it's been so few.
Yeah.
Because I've had such a good time. I'm sleeping 7 hours a night, so then I actually recover pretty well.
Yeah, got a good rhythm.
This is getting to the end of the trip, so I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sprinting, but I've had my days. Like day 4, throwing up all day.
Yeah, I remember in the beginning.
On myself, like on the side of my bike, like.
So, you've done a lot of ultra racing.
Yes.
Where you're actually like,
Against
you know,
people.
pinning it against people.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference you found in doing something like this, as opposed to doing something like a mass start, like a divide, or like?
Well, this, it's like, it's so long that I'm taking care of myself a bit better.
Yeah.
And then I feel better. I guess in the beginning, like, just the total distance was so daunting. My friend was like, "You're eating an elephant." And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much true.
Yeah.
I'm eating an elephant with like a plastic fork.
So you don't think about the whole elephant, you just think about what's on the fork?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I just have been doing day to day.
That's what you gotta do.
You know, and I don't look ahead too much. I'm like, all right, today, going through Santa Fe, New Mexico, hopefully make it to Santa Rosa. Tomorrow I'll be in Texas.
But that's about as far as the planning goes.
Exactly.
So you're saying that at the end of every day, you feel like you're like hungover from a big party. Why is that?
Yeah, it's like the start of every day. I'm like, man, what have I been doing? This is crazy. And I think it's just because every day is just like this huge marathon full of miles and people and sunshine and exposure.
Yeah.
And it's just such a blast. But it's like, I'm just going so hard on every level.
Yeah.
But in the way where you wake up and you're hungover and you're happy.
Yeah, you're like fulfilled, and you're like,
oh
whoa.
yeah, that was a good one. That's how I've been feeling.
What's it like going from like summer to winter back to summer again? Because
isn't that crazy?
you were riding through Australia a month ago, and it was 8-hour days and like freezing cold, right?
Yeah, it's been wild. I think my temperature range has been as cold as 19 degrees.
Whew.
And as hot as 110.
That is a massive range.
Yeah. And then I switched to winter in the southern hemisphere for about 5 weeks. Even with snow.
Casual 5 weeks.
Yeah.
How did you deal with like gear with that? Like
I
in terms of
some extra merino layers at the airport.
Nice.
In New Zealand.
Huh.
And that helped.
Yeah. And then how did you deal with the 110-degree days?
You know, for that stretch, I slept through the day and rode through it at night.
Ah, nice. You just avoided it. So because it's still probably in the 90s at night.
Yeah.
But at least the sun's not beating down.
I mean, I probably was out in about 105. It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Here in Albuquerque, New Mexico with
Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson. What's going on? What's this group ride of people here for?
Well, Lael is riding across the world, and we were watching her dot, and she was coming through, so we all decided to join in.
That's what's up. So when you say watching your dot, for those people that don't know, what does that mean?
So she has a spot tracker on her bike, and you can follow her on, I think it's Watch My Ride or something like that.
Follow My Challenge, one of those things.
Follow My Challenge, yeah. So
you were kind of watching her ride around the world, and then she rolled through hometown, and you're like, let's go hang out.
Yeah, let's go hang out. You know, when's the next time you're gonna get a chance to ride with Lael Wilcox, you know?
Especially as she literally rides around the world.
Exactly.
This is amazing. Lael, what's going on? What are we doing here?
Yeah, we're in Albuquerque and just riding through town. My friend Dallas asked if I had anything going on with my bike, and actually I'm having a little trouble keeping air in my tires. Kind of like a beach ball. So we're gonna swap them out and then put some real heavy ones on, because I-40's got a bunch of stuff.
And we're gonna go.
Then we're gonna go. Wires. Both tires.
When did you put these on?
These out 4 days ago.
These are 4 days old.
Yeah. And they're just totally wrecked.
How many tires have you been through?
7 sets.
7 sets, 7 continents, 7 sets of tires.
Usually I get about 2,500 to 3,000 miles on them, and these are only 4 days old, so that's probably like, it's less than 800 miles.
That's wild. But I mean, the retread, like you're riding on the highways.
That stuff's crazy.
Yeah. This is 4 days. You literally see you've got like chunks of tire hanging out.
Yeah, look at that.
So most people may not know, but what's the deal with what's going on in the front of your bike? What's all this
gosh,
stuff?
my control panel.
Headquarters?
Yeah, this is so cool. So I've got aero bars, and then this special Rebel 8 Designs bag works around them. There's my sleep kit, which is a sleeping bag, sleeping pad, and bivvy. But really I stay in hotels a lot.
But that's kind of just in case you need to.
Backup.
Yeah, just in case. And for those that don't know, a bivvy is a really expensive garbage bag.
Yeah. It's a great one.
Yeah.
And then spot tracker, Wahoo Roam, dynamo headlight.
And so that's actually linked to your hub, right? You're generating power as you ride.
Exactly, so I can have light whenever I need it.
So there really is the control center, because you can charge your phone, you can charge your Wahoo, you could run the light.
Yeah, and then I've got a quad lock with my phone, and then all my snacks.
Which is the most important thing in the entire world.
Got me this yesterday.
Look at that. That thing is massive.
Just under a pound. But yeah, this stuff is what's been keeping me going.
And it's got to be all up front too, because you can't stop and take the time to like unpack your bags. It's got to be accessible.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, for this trip, I'm stopping and eating some meals.
Yeah.
Like I always try to have a good breakfast and a good dinner.
Which is important, yeah.
Most bikepacking races, I'm just on the bike eating, because I
kinda
don't want to take the time.
For sure. So this is the big difference between the races, that you can sit down, you can have a meal. And
yeah, because I'm like, I gotta eat real food to keep myself going.
yeah, I mean, 3 months.
Yeah.
All right, day 102, about to be 112 days around the world with Lael Wilcox. That's just amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chaz.
Thanks for keeping it fun. This is Chaz and Lael making you faster around the world.
Woo!
Well, Lael's going around the world. I'm just making you faster normally.